I've recognized that if I can coach that whole person, then of course we can kind of go along the journey of where they want to be in terms of any area of their life. So that means that I have the chance to coach lots of different individuals, lots of women, people from diverse backgrounds, as well as individuals that are just stuck. They're not certain where they want to be just yet.
Welcome to Career Coaching Secrets, the podcast where we talk with successful career coaches on how they built their success and the hard lessons they learned along the way. My name is Davis Nguyen, and I'm the founder of Purple Circle, where we help career coaches scale their business to 7 and 8 figures without burning out. Before Purple Circle, I started and scaled several 7 and 8 figure career coaching businesses myself and consulted with 2 career coaching businesses that are now doing over $100 million each. Whether you're an established coach or just building your practice for the first time, you'll discover the secrets to elevating your coaching business.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Career Coaching Secrets podcast. Today with me is a very special guest. Her name is Tanisha Moody. She is a career, a life, and certified ICF leadership coach. She's going to share with us a little bit more about her journey of becoming a career coach and a little bit about how, the challenges that she's currently facing in her career coaching. Tanisha is founding coach of Full Out Coaching. Tanisha, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Rexhen. It's so great to meet you, and thank you for having me here.
Welcome. And Tanisha, tell us a little bit about yourself and what inspired you to become a career coach and life coach as well as leadership coach.
Yeah, definitely. So my background's a bit unique. I first started in professional theater as a stage manager, got my BFA, worked professionally in theater all across the United States, and then eventually wound up transitioning into corporate events via Disney. Also worked with Marriott, Under Armour, Salesforce, and I recognized throughout my journey of creating experiences that some of my favorite parts about my roles were the chance to lead and develop individuals. And I had a chance to be a people manager and leader, and having the opportunity to allow them to see things from different perspectives, to grow and to get to where they wanted to be in their career was something that was so incredibly fulfilling. And at the level that I was at while at Salesforce, that was one of my first introductions to coaching. They were allowed me to have an executive coach, and I recognized that, wow, I could potentially do this full time in terms of developing and helping other people unlock that hidden potential. And I took every coaching class available at Salesforce that I could. And after that opportunity concluded through a layoff and reorganization, I decided to go ahead and pursue coaching full time. And it's been super fulfilling to be able to be a full-time coach, to help people see things from different perspectives, unlock that hidden potential, and get to where they want to be in life.
Awesome. Lovely. So initially, basically, you received great coaching, and then you decided that you also want to be able to to be a great coach as well.
Definitely.
What is who do you work with, and what transformation do you help them achieve?
So I'm very fortunate to work with a lot of different diverse individuals all across the world. The coaching community has that unique effect of kind of making the world feel a lot smaller. And what I'm so fortunate about with my clients is that they might come to me in terms of, hey, I'm going through a career transition, or I'm not certain where I want to be just yet, or I have many different passions. How can I combine these all into a career, into a life that I want to live? And I've recognized that if I can coach that whole person, then of course we can kind of go along the journey of where they want to be in terms of any area of their life. So that means that I have the chance to coach lots of different individuals, lots of women, people from diverse backgrounds, as well as individuals that are just stuck. They're not certain where they want to be just yet.
And I've also read that you work with individuals, but you also work with teams. Is that true?
That is true. I've had the chance to work individually and within teams in both corporate environments as well as nonprofit environments, government environments, as well as individuals that may be entrepreneurs, business owners, creatives as well. So I've been really fortunate to connect with a whole sweep of individuals across a lot of different industries to really allow them to become who they wish to be.
Where do you find these people? So what is the main way of you connect with potential clients? you work with?
I would say some of the main ways are definitely through word of mouth and networking. Since I have such a unique background, that means I'm already connected to a lot of unique people too. In terms of like LinkedIn, like I have my theater individuals on there, people from the event industry, individuals that do a lot of salsa dancing as well. So it's like you might meet people from that. So I definitely feel I have had the chance to connect with a lot of different individuals honestly by being myself and living my life. I feel like that really has been something that has allowed me to connect with a lot of people across different industries that you might not even consider as well. I'm involved in my church as well. I'm a Christian, so being able to go into our church Slack channel and be like, hey, this is what I do. Anyone interested has been really beneficial throughout my business. So I would say being able to connect the dots within my network and within my community has been really awesome to kind of build the funnel through word of mouth. I also do consistently post on LinkedIn. I have a blog on my website, and utilizing those channels definitely makes an impact too.
Cool. So regarding if there were to be a division by, if you were to divide it by percentages, would you say that majority or like 80% is coming from referrals and the other 20% is it coming from like LinkedIn posts and the blog?
I would probably say the majority is coming from like within my network. So it might be from a LinkedIn post because like that person might be in the network or might be connected to somebody that's in my network. So I would definitely say maybe 90% somewhere from somewhere that I already know an individual, whether it's I've connected with them on LinkedIn or my personal Instagram or Facebook or something along those lines. And then that other 10% might come from other random places. Like I had a chance to maybe do a podcast or they heard me on a podcast or they did see some of my writing just because it came up in like a Google search or on Pinterest because somebody reposted it or something like that. But I would definitely say having those connection points from me personally that I already know them is probably the majority.
Okay, cool. So it's mostly then organic. There's not a lot of you actively reaching out to people you want to connect with that you don't know. It's basically people that mostly know you, that are part of your network, that are closest to you.
Yeah, I would say that's true for right now. You have other goals in terms of like where I want to take my coaching and my training and the development of others. So some of those pieces are coming from cold outreach, finding email addresses or somebody else that knows somebody. I guess so it's kind of a little bit organic because they might know someone to hand me their business card. But a lot of the cold outreach for some of my other goals for my business do stem from a different marketing channel.
Oh, cool. I was just gonna ask you about like your goals that you are working towards for the next 1 to 3 years. And cold outreach, is it like LinkedIn or email, or you can share more about like apart from marketing as well, in general, like your goals for the next 1 to 3 years.
Yeah, definitely. So for me, like, very important that I share this gift of coaching because I do really see it that way. It's something that I recognize can change the world because it's already like changed my life, and I feel like there's ripple effects that come from that as other people get exposed to it and recognize that hey, I'm the expert in my life and I can navigate anything that's thrown at me, whether it's personal or in my career, and I can get to where I want to be ideally in all areas. So in the future, I've already started to collaborate with other coaches because we feel like there's an opportunity to provide on-site coaching at different types of events and conferences, as well as special engagements where people might not be introduced to coaching just yet. They might not have it within their budget or don't know what it is. So I think there's a way to ensure that that is something that kind of shows up in the future. And that's something that my business is working towards as well. We also are looking to connect and collaborate with more corporate clients because we recognize that corporation and business really has a chance to drive impact and change throughout the world as well. So being able to provide this service and to serve individuals and groups and teams in this capacity is something that I'm super passionate about, especially being in the corporate environment and seeing my one role was able to help other people grow and help communities change was such a beautiful thing to be a part of. And having the chance to be on this side of it as a coach is really exciting.
Cool. I wanted to ask you, in terms of like the goals for the next 1 to 3 years, a lot of the viewers are also going to be coaches that are at a certain stage in terms of revenue and maybe want to get to a different part of it. Totally an option. You don't have to share this, but if you feel like you want to share it, or if it's not a problem for you, you can share that like in the next 1 to 3 years, you want to achieve that type of revenue, or if that's not a driver for you, then we can leave it and move on.
Yeah, I would say like the revenue really isn't a huge driver for me. And you're welcome to put this in as well as you go
Okay.
along.
What about revenue? What do you think in terms of like revenue for the next 1 to 3 years? Is that a driver for your business, or is that not a focus for you right now?
Yeah, I would say it's not the most important driver. I mean, I do have a cat and he's very expensive. So I do have to ensure that I can cover everything that I need to cover. But I recognize for me, like the biggest drivers, my business is my organization, is my life in alignment with my values. And that's how I've been trying to kind of gauge success of a lot of different things. So am I excited about getting out of the bed every morning? It's 6 a.m. right here in Maryland with me, which is great. And I've been up already for an hour. So it's like, am I excited to do what I get to do every day is one of the biggest measurements that I am measuring in terms of my overall success and where my organization is going. In the way that my organization in terms of individual coaching is set up is that I do provide a boutique service. So the amount of clients that I have is limited, and I like to keep it that way. And I'm ideally like my whole Rolodex of those individual clients is full within the next few years, but it's not to a point that it feels like, oh, I'm infringing on my values and I'm not showing up how I want to show up, and I'm not doing the things that really excite me and stir up joy and excitement in my career and my life. So those are some of the things that are really important to me in the next 1 to 3 years as I'm navigating, growing and expanding and sharing coaching with the world.
Amazing. In terms of like for coaches that are currently in the starting phases, what resources or support has been valuable for you in growing your business to this stage, at least that it is today?
So there's been a lot of resources. I'm an avid reader, so I love doing that. But what's coming to mind actually is that if I had to pick probably one thing, it's probably receiving coaching myself. And I feel like that has unlocked a lot of things for me that I didn't even recognize and realize. For me, something that came out of a lot of coaching sessions that I had with my coaches, I can potentially combine a lot of things from my previous experience, a lot of things that are of interest to me, and create something that is in alignment with the experience that I have. So the chance to utilize my theater background, to utilize my event background, to not only serve professionals that are in those industries, maybe even think about how I show up with the coaching. Is it like bringing coaching to a theater or something like that? Or is it bringing it to a conference or event that aligns with my previous skill set? And the ability to utilize coaching and coaches to help me connect those dots between my multiple passions is something that I feel like has allowed me to grow and to step further into the successful business I'm trying to build here, that because I've already built in so many different ways. And I feel like there are a lot of resources out there that really talk about like niching down and such. I feel like, whatever approach works for you, that's wonderful. But I do feel like if we can kind of extract a lot of our previous experience and a lot of who we are, I think that really allows us to really kind of open up the options and opportunities that are available for us and to merge those with coaching and to build the kind of business that really is something that is solid and built upon who we are as individuals.
Awesome. And anyone, either for you, Tanisha, share with you a link because we did research on this as well. We did a white paper on what is the best investment for career coaches, leadership, and there's also other There's also been a few coaches on that report. I'm going to share it with you. For anyone else watching, I'm going to link it on the description of this video so that you can find that, like what investments have worked best for coaches in 2024. And we're doing a 2025 version soon as well. So you mentioned that for you, the resource has been also receiving great coaching. How do you stay connected still with other coaches, be that career coaches, leadership coaches, or life coaches, just like yourself?
Yeah, I do. I do stay connected with coaches. I'm a member of ICF, so we have a very active community in this area, as well as I have brought on coaches into my organization to help support the vision that we're trying to build together, especially as I was navigating acquiring hours for my first tier of certification. There's a lot of peer coaching that took place, and some of the individuals I had the chance to peer coach with, I still peer coach with to this day, which is super great to have like a long-term connection with coaches, to try things out with them, new strategies and tools, as well as to have a partner that's not just an accountability partner, but honestly like a partner that we're kind of growing on this journey together, has been super beneficial as I've navigated this journey. And I would say that that group of coaches that I'm so honored and privileged to have a chance to receive and give coaching to are some of the people that have really helped me get to where I am today, because they've definitely pushed and challenged me and said, like, all right, you do this. You said you're going to do this last session and it's still not done. What's going on here? As well as celebrated all the progress that's been made. They can see it from a perspective sometimes that I don't see myself, which is such a testimony to their wonderful coaching. And I really appreciate that I have this community of coaches to really allow me to step into my purpose and fulfill it.
Yeah, I really love that, especially the accountability factor that goes with it. And is there something that when you first started scaling your coaching business, is there something that you wish you had known as a coach that would have been valuable for you at the beginning as well, or some like unexpected lesson learned?
Yeah, actually, a story is coming up, and feel free to keep this or not, but
Okay.
there's a story coming up for me because I was actually in yoga last week, and we were doing this pose that's called flying pigeon. If anyone is familiar with it, you put your leg in like a figure four and you bend over onto the ground, and then your hands are on the ground and you kind of hook your foot around your arm. So like your feet are all off on the ground and your body weight is all completely on your hands. And I actually was able to successfully complete this pose last week, which was crazy because I didn't think I could do it. I felt like the way that my body bends and shapes never looked like the instructor or other people that were doing this similar pose. So I kind of felt like since mine does not look like that, I cannot do this pose. And last week I was just like, all right, we're just gonna go for it. I mean, we can do all these other ones that are basically the same thing. It's just this one's a little bit modified. And I had a realization in that moment that it might not look how I expect it to look, but there still can be success in doing it and trying it. And of course, successfully mastering it as well. And I feel like that directly relates to my coaching business as well. I see other people. Of course, there's other beautiful coaches, a lot of beautiful coaching going on, businesses that are making lots of money, and businesses and people that are living in their values and their purposes and all these beautiful things. And I realized, and it would have been great to realize even earlier that like, hey, mine doesn't have to look like that, but it can still be successful, still be beautiful, impactful, and still serve and help other people. So as I've been able to kind of navigate my career and our business journey, and as it continues to grow, I think keeping that in the back of my mind of like, hey, it doesn't have to look like anybody else's. And that's perfectly okay. That's actually more exciting, to really be able to grow it into what it's meant to be.
Probably even better, right? It's
Thank
thanks for
you.
sharing. That
Thank
that was a
you.
very powerful story that you just shared right now, and also made me think of different parts of the analysis that I do. And yeah, thanks for sharing that. I think a lot of coaches or career coaches are going to find themselves in that story in a way or one way or the other. And it connects a little bit with my next question that I have for you is what is the biggest challenge? What is the biggest challenge you're currently facing in scaling your coaching business right now?
I feel like one of the challenges that has kind of continuously came up actually, and it probably relates a little bit to the piece as well, is because I love coaching. I love being able to serve and help so many different people. And sometimes it feels like, oh, would it be better to just focus on these individuals instead of the whole sea of individuals, or what that looks like, or these type of organizations, but not these type of organizations. And that's been something that I've had to really kind of navigate, receive coaching around, work with partners to kind of, all right, let's build out a strategy and see if this is feasible and if it aligns with what we're trying to build. And I would say that's been a challenge sometimes, to ensure that we are being strategic in terms of what we're offering and who we're offering it to. But I've recognized again that, and it probably comes a lot from like who I am in my faith and all those things, but I recognize that like whoever it's for, it's going to be for. So they're going to receive it. They're going to come into the right connection with it. And of course, like it's my role to put it out into the universe so that people know that like, hey, this is an offering. This is available. I'm here to help. But I definitely feel like that can be a little bit tricky sometimes to navigate, because there are a lot of people that could leverage coaching, that need support in their careers and their journeys. I do recognize that honestly, it's definitely bigger and above me, but whoever is supposed to resonate and be for, whoever you're supposed to serve as a coach and help get to where they want to be in their lives and their careers, is going to ultimately work out as it needs to.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And in terms of like handling, like balancing between delivering great results to your clients and also at the other side, managing the business growth, how do you balance that? How do you handle that balance?
Yeah, so that definitely can be something can be a little bit tricky, because sometimes I see it as like the business operations versus like the actual coaching, the actual
Yeah.
service providing. And I recognize that if I can lean on my skill set and my strengths and any kind of previous experience that I have to kind of set things up, that is super important so that I can fully be present when it's time to coach. Some of the tools that I really rely heavily on are a lot of automation, being able to kind of put into place that I can follow up with somebody via email, utilizing, chat GPT or AI to ensure that like my emails are grammar free and that they land and that they're sent at the right time really allows me to be fully present when it's time to do the coaching and to serve in that capacity. In addition, I found one of the biggest hacks though is really asking for help. I feel like sometimes we go on this journey of being a coach and we kind of silo ourselves. We think, it's all on me, all on my back here. But being willing to like, hey, could you like read this over? Or do you mind like you sharing this so I can focus on being here at this time? I think that is so incredibly important, to lean on the network, on the people that can help support you and this journey to ensure that you can actually focus on the actual coaching. And I know that especially for myself, like being by myself and within the organization, it's super easy to just like, all right, I got this. I can do it all. Just my computer and we're good to go. But if you can find other people that can help, maybe it's like a spouse or boyfriend or mom. I probably should be paying her at this point. Like she helps and supports in a lot of different ways so that I can focus on the things that really light me up, which is the coaching and connecting with individuals.
For sharing that. And is there any aspect of running your coaching business that would keep you up at night in a way, or like some worry that you have right now?
I would say sometimes something that keeps me up at night is worrying in terms of like, am I making am I making the impact that I'm supposed to be making? Am I utilizing every single skill set that I have to serve each individual, each team, everyone that I have a chance to work with? Um, Honestly, it's kind of that mentality, am I doing enough? And I recognize that I'm putting that on myself. I'm definitely adding that sort of pressure and worrying about that. But I feel like that's probably me as an individual because I do want to continue growing. I do want to continue serving, and I want to see a lot of things come to fruition. So I feel like those are the type of thoughts that really keep me up at night. And how I've been able to navigate them is actually kind of related to that last point about really leaning on my community, leaning on my coaches, and recognizing the small things to celebrate and to be grateful for. Even if it's not the whole picture just yet, there's so much positivity that's been brought to life through what I've already done.
I think you're definitely not alone in that worry about making an impact. I think it's going to be resonating with a lot of coaches that are going to watch this as well. Because as coaches, you tend to impact not just the person that you're coaching, but also other people that in their community as well. And yeah, so that's I think you are already making a great impact, and you're definitely not alone in that worry. In terms of like, what advice would you give other career coaches who are looking to scale their impact? Now we go back to that impact question that we just talked about, which was a worry for you. Now you'd be giving advice for that.
Definitely. I think that's a wonderful question. And how I've been navigating it, because I feel like I'm going to be continuously navigating this alongside all the other coaches listening to this, is that first, it's so important to fully understand and comprehend as much as we can to this point, because we're still learning and growing, but who we are at our core. Who are we? What are our values, those core values? How are we really determining what impact really is? And I think if we can unpack that a bit at the start of that foundation, then it's super easy to recognize that, like, yeah, I am bringing about a small piece of change and making the world a little bit better and serving others along the way. But it definitely stems from who are you? Who are we? And how can we ensure that that definition, that picture of impact that aligns intrinsically with us, as we have that measuring stick, then it's easier to be like, all right, yeah, I made an impact today that was positive. I accomplished something here that's worth celebrating. There's some gratitude built around that. And that's what I lean on when I'm up at night or when I'm thinking in the bed, like, oh, did I make an impact today? All right, let's go back to that foundation. And now we can be like, oh, there was a little bit that contributed to the impact that we're trying to make.
Well, this has been great for everyone who wants to connect with you because they were enjoyed this conversation that we had today. I did enjoy the conversation. They can find you at tanishalmoody.com. I'm going to put that on the screen. They can also find you on LinkedIn. Is there any other method you'd like people to connect with you, maybe after watching this?
Yeah, sure. I'm also on Instagram, Tanisha Moody on Instagram, and don't post too much coaching stuff, but if anyone likes a great cocktail and some cat photos, feel free to find me on there. I'm happy to connect and be a resource. I recognize that, we're not doing this alone. We all have a role to play to make this impact and to help and serve individuals. And I'm happy to connect and have a virtual coffee, an in-person tea, and see where it goes.
Well, thank you, Tanisha. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Arden.
That's it for this episode of Career Coaching Secrets. If you enjoyed this conversation, you can subscribe to YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you're listening to this episode to catch future episodes. This conversation was brought to you by Purple Circle, where we help career coaches scale their business to 7 and 8 figures without burning out. To learn more about Purple Circle, our community, and how we can help you grow your business, visit joinpurplecircle.com.